I have my permit now, and if you guys don't know, my mom ripped my permit up in my last video. Oh, no!
I think a good YouTuber is like a cigar. It lasts for a long time, has a good flavor, and when it eventually burns out, it's fine. It was a thoroughly enjoyable experience that was fun while it lasted, but you knew eventually it would go out. In comparison, a bad YouTuber or streamer is like a cigarette. It burns bright in the beginning, but in less than 20 minutes, it's already out, and the addict discards what's left of it on the sidewalk, quickly reaching for another cigarette in the pack, discarded and forgotten almost as quickly as it was lit. Unless you're Winston Churchill, cigars are consumed much less frequently, usually only on special occasions or when hanging out with friends, less likely to soon be forgotten. There's this very common mentality that all press is good press. Negativity is good because at least people are paying attention to you. Now, in some cases this is true. For example, Logan Paul. Logan Paul went through one of the craziest media scandals nearly 10 years ago, one that in most cases would completely end somebody's career. But he was able to stay around because, well, one, YouTube didn't suspend him, but two, he tricked his audience into thinking that he grew up and changed. But it's clear that in recent events, the only thing he's learned is how to trick an audience. iShowSpeed is a similar case, although he's easily a much more likable personality. His start on YouTube as a teenager is riddled with controversies that, if he didn't learn and get his act together, probably would have significantly dampened the current viewership he has today. Then there are influencers who seem to have no interest in any kind of redemption arc, even if it's purely only for show. People like Neon, Johnny Somali, and the topic of today's video, Jack Doherty. Looking back on Jack Doherty's older content, it's kind of surreal going back to when he was a young kid participating in marker flip challenges, seeing as he's only 2 years younger than me. It's a strange sense of nostalgia in a way, but this feeling doesn't last very long. It's clear looking at his older content, the Jack Doherty we see today is not that different at all from when he was younger. He's still only 20, and 20-year-olds are stupid, but the degree of recklessness Jack Doherty displays tells me that even after his brain fully develops at 25, I doubt his behavior will be that different than from how he is now. I'm no psychologist, but he comes off as a genuine sociopath or psychopath. Not the cold, murderous kind that you'll see in TV shows, but the kind that never takes anything seriously and will actively endanger people, see them in pain, and not feel anything at all. Everything he does comes off as a joke to him. When he crashes a golf cart and his girlfriend gets injured, he just thinks it's funny. It's kind of comedic that there's a long history of his juvenile behavior when it comes to driving in cars. There's an old series on his channel back when he was 15 or 16 where he vlogs himself learning how to drive.
I don't want any fooling around.
Alright. Oh, no!
These videos are just kind of crazy. For whatever reason, the comments are disabled. I don't know if this is something he did all the way back in the day when he actually cared, or if it was something he accidentally did and never cared to change. When it comes to the videos on his original channel, it's not really consistent when the comments are disabled or enabled. But this one video is just, I don't even know how to describe it. There's a part where he's learning to drive with his dad, and he points to this family, this dad and his kid, and he says to his own father, "Hey dad, the kid is X amount of points, the dad is Y amount of points."
Okay, Dad, there's 3 people in front of us. 2 adults and a kid. Kid's 5 points, adults are 3.
Jack, that's not even funny.
Okay,
Don't mess around.
This is something that you might joke about with your friends on Xbox Live or when you're out clubbing, but not with your dad in the car while you're actively trying to drive. I love it. His excuse is "Oh Dad, I'm just trying to have fun here."
Sorry, Dad, I'm having fun.
And here comes a
Oh,
car.
there's another car. Should I honk at it?
No, don't
Sorry.
do that.
Is that embarrassing?
That's embarrassing.
All right.
Why would you do that?
Dad, it's called meta-irony. I'm not being serious. Anyways, going back to the beginning of the end when it comes to Jack Doherty, it's clear that even when he was a young teen, after doing a series of pranks where he would go to Walmart and sing Despacito over the loudspeaker and turn off the power, he realized this is a fun activity to just stir random crap and disrupt people. Something clicked in his mind that this behavior was fun, and because it got views and he seemingly wasn't punished by his parents, he saw no issue with continuing to make content like this. The first time that Jack Doherty showed up on everybody's radar was when he was walking around some mall. Most of you have probably seen this clip. He goes around, like he has his arms outstretched, he bumps into someone, and then as the person goes to get in front of him, he brings out his bodyguard, and he's like, oh, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Pretty annoying behavior. It's pretty much comedically evil. This is like something you'd see a villain in a kid's movie do. Probably the craziest thing he said was that later when he was walking out on a boardwalk and his bodyguard had a shirt with a bunch of curse words in it, and naturally a dad goes up to him and he's like, hey dude, my kids are here, you know, quit being stupid, quit swearing. And he says, well, it's okay, your kids can't read, right?
Your kids can't read though?
What are you talking about?
Your kids can't read, can they?
This random guy, I don't even know who he is. I don't even know how he was in earshot. He just comes up and starts beating Jack Doherty, and his security jumps in. I'm not saying this to defend Jack Doherty. I know some people think he needs to be turned into Swiss cheese. The fact that guy just comes out of nowhere, I mean, morally he's in the right, but it unfortunately put the dad in a situation where if Jack Doherty wanted to press charges, he could have. It was also probably traumatizing to see their dad get beat up right in front of their eyes. Watching his clips over the past year and a half, it's clear that Jack Doherty is the kind of guy who has and never will feel the emotion Sonder. Sonder is a real emotion described when you realize that everyone around you sees life as complex and as full as your own. Jack Doherty just doesn't seem to have that in his brain. Everything that happens to him and everyone around him is just another pawn in his game for making kick content. If he attempted to try and show a redemption arc, I don't think he legitimately could. It's clear that he's insane. But if he needed any more proof that this guy is a total moron, the recent situation that's crazy / insane he's gotten himself into could have legitimately taken his own life and the life of his cameraman. I mean, Critical talked about it, so you're probably aware of it, but just recently, Jack Doherty was driving in his McLaren out in the rain while looking at his phone. Jack Doherty was driving around in his $200,000 McLaren in the rain while not focusing on the road and reading chat. Because he's focusing on his phone and has very basic knowledge when it comes to driving supercars, he eventually hydroplanes and crashes into the guardrail on the side of the road. Thankfully, he didn't hit any other cars, and the front of his car cushioned the blow, preventing both of them from passing away. A side tangent, he mentions later on in his response video that he only thinks the engine didn't explode because he had a very low tank of gas. So this guy knows so little about the car he's driving. He thinks the engine in the McLaren is under the hood. So even if he had a full tank of gas, it wouldn't have exploded on him. This isn't GTA. Cars don't just explode when they crash into things. Even if you shot a bullet directly into the engine, it wouldn't explode. Now, the main reason why everyone is condemning Jack Doherty in this situation is the lack of care he shows when he comes out of the car and sees his friend Michael, who's the cameraman, bleeding from his forehead. I can't show you the actual clip, but I beautifully illustrated it here. He says, yo bro, you good? You good, bro? And he says, oh wait, no, hold the camera, man. And then a few seconds later, he just tells him to hold the camera, not really caring at all that this guy might be bleeding out right in front of him. Halfway through all of this, for whatever reason, he takes his shirt off. It's not like the paramedics told him to take it off. He just randomly took it off, probably because he thought it would look good in a photo for whatever reason, because right after he did that, he started posing. And when medical professionals came to the scene and told him to turn the cameras off, he was like, oh well, I have to pay for this McLaren somehow. Going back a bit, one of the drivers right after he's crashed yells out at him that you can't park here. I just wanted to bring that up real quick. It's not super relevant. I just thought it was funny. But he crashed. He got his footage that he wanted. He started saying like, oh dude, I'm so sad. My McLaren. Oh, by the way, I still have my nice watch though. You can read this guy like a book. Even when he's saying like he's so sad about his car crashing right in front of him, it's like the thought of his friend doesn't even cross his mind, and he just knows that it's not a big deal because he can just get another McLaren. And if he had crashed it like in his driveway or on a racetrack and it was only him in the car, maybe you could excuse this, because if he doesn't care that he almost lost his life, okay, well, he's a reckless idiot, but at least he didn't put anyone else in danger. But he not only put his friend's life in danger, he also put the lives of anyone else on the road that could have possibly hit him in danger. So the fact that that's really the only thing on his mind it's inexcusable, really. It's proof that he feels nothing at all. The only three emotions he has is anger, confusion, pride, and humor. People can say it's bad parenting, but looking at his old footage, it's clear that he just has something mentally wrong with him that prevents him from really caring about these things. It's clear that his parents aren't super strict, but even if they were, he probably would be the exact same. But that all being said, he responded, and his response is fantastic, actually. It puts everything to rest, and I can confidently say that I forgive Jack Doherty, and he has changed for the good as a person. Obviously, I'm joking. If anything, it further proves what I just said a few seconds ago. So starting off, we'll go to the tweet, his first response where he says, "Going to post a more detailed response today, but it's been 24 hours since the accident, and I just want to say how great I am that Michael and I are alive. I'm so sorry, Michael, for putting you through that. Thank you to all the first responders and everyone who helped us get us out of the car. This could have been so much worse, and it's a huge learning lesson." And then readers added context. Jack was using his phone and driving at an excessive speed in rain. He knew it. Which, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if he knew. I think he's just so stupid. He might not have even known what hydroplaning was before this happened. Going a few minutes into his response video, the beginning is just him talking about the car crash and talking to his friend in the hospital. He gets back to his house, and his mom is hugging him, saying like, "Oh, you need to be more careful." She accuses him of being on weed, which, I'm not somebody who watches Jack Doherty very often. I'm not sure how often he partakes in the devil's lettuce. But he tells her, "Oh, it was completely out of my control. We just hydroplaned." No, you were looking at your phone. It wasn't an accident. It was completely avoidable. It wasn't like he had two hands on the steering wheel, focused on the road, and accidentally hydroplaned. He was on his phone, not paying attention to the road, and that completely changes the context. His mom says that she doesn't care about the car, and to be honest, you don't value material possessions over people. Even his mom doesn't know how to Doherty Max right now, okay? She doesn't get it, okay? Jack Doherty is the GOAT, and he just gets it, alright? He has that psychopath riz. He's the kind of businessman that gets things done, okay? Going back to the video, his mom is hugging him, saying he can't do this again, and she tells him, "Oh, you're so lucky. Thank God that you didn't die." And even when he's talking to his mom, he sounds disingenuous.
On your knees, Jack, and say thank you.
I know. Thank God that we're both okay. Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Dude, thank God, am I right, chat? Like, bro, I could have actually died. I'm starting to think that Jack Doherty was Galaxy Gas victim number 1 with how his brain functions. There's also a part where right after he gets back and his mom is scared for his life and thankful that he didn't die, he says, "Oh, I'm ready to go again. Give me the keys."
I'm ready to start going again. Give me my keys.
Dude, there's a time and a place, okay, for dark humor. Shut the up.
Lesson. No more driving cars like this in the rain. No more. I don't even know, bro.
He doesn't know, which makes sense. Probably the most honest thing I've heard Jack Doherty say. He doesn't get it. And then right after, he goes up to his friend, the friend that just nearly died, and he's like, "Yo, Michael, we're just about to stream again."
Yo, Michael. I'm about to go live. He said, "Alright, 1 sec. I'm kidding."
Again, dude, shut the f up. Holy f. I was watching this video and I just noticed as he's hugging his mom and talking about how she's so glad that he's alive, there's a huge only sign in the background. What is going on? What is this household? This is shit show. What the f? This is actually a loony bin. They need to lock all these streamers up in this house and then watch them all. Okay, I can't say that. Also, I might as well mention it now. It's well known that Jack Doherty's main source of income is OnlyFans. He'll use his accounts to promote his OnlyFans with content that's clearly made for kids, but he says is for adults. There's also been claims from multiple different sources that he'll get 17-year-old girls who are about to turn 18, bring them out on a yacht, get them drunk and have them sign a contract, and they'll work for him after they turn 18. There are also apparently multiple 16-year-old girls who live with Jack Doherty, or at least work with him on OnlyFans. So, if true, that's no good. For legal reasons, I have to say this is alleged, but I recommend you watch Riva's video called Jack Doherty is Disgusting. I'll link it down below. I just read that fucking... Oh my god, look at that fucking thumbnail. I mean, it's a good thumbnail, it gets the point across, but that's a wild thing to put up. And I have good news. Jack Doherty has been permanently banned from Kick. Now, the way that Kick runs its platform, I'd say the three biggest streaming platforms at the minute are Twitch, YouTube, and Kick. When it comes to the rules, Twitch is definitely the strictest. You can just stream snipe somebody who's big and you'll get permabanned. YouTube is a little bit more relaxed. In most cases, you can't break terms of service, but there are definitely cases where people did break the terms of service and didn't get permabanned. And then Kick is the place where all the degenerates go, because Kick's prerogative when it comes to content creation and streaming is that there's a bunch of bad press, but bad press means more viewers. There's obviously an audience for this kind of content, and if they police it, then the viewership will go down. So they've gotten into the niche of all these degenerate streamers who put themselves in risk, put others in risk, annoy people, IRL stream, and just are general freaks. So getting banned on Kick is pretty rare. Occasionally people will get temporary banned, which is just a slap on the wrist, like, hey man, don't do it again, but you make enough money for us, so just try to pretend that you learned something here. But when somebody gets permabanned, I don't think there's been a case when a streamer who has been permabanned from Kick got back to the platform. For example, Johnny Somali that I mentioned earlier in the video, he was the guy who went around Japan and just started bullying random civilians. He started shouting Nagasaki, Hiroshima to annoy people, be edgy for no reason. And eventually he walked into a construction site and got arrested in Japan, and I'm pretty sure he got out light because he lied in court and then he got out. But he's been banned for months, and he's been begging to get back on the platform, but they're not hearing him. And it's probably A, because they just don't want him back, and B, he doesn't make enough money for them to justify bringing him back to the platform. In this response video, Jack tells his mom that it's not permanent, that he'll get his channel back, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't think he is. That being said, Aiden Ross on stream said that he could get his account back if he gave him $300,000. So I don't know if he's joking. Even if he's not joking, I don't think he has complete power over the platform. It's likely that the higher ups would reject that even if he paid the $300,000, because Aiden Ross, I don't know how high he is in the company, but I don't think he's not the big cheese. He's not the big guy. He's not going to be able to get him back. He'd have to go through some people to get Jack Doherty back on the platform. But let's pray that this is permanent and he can't once again use money to get himself out of a bad situation. There's also the likelihood that he'll be arrested, because this is 100% reckless endangerment, texting and driving. He could get a year in prison, but I imagine if he was tried, he might just get community service or a few months in jail. Then again, I'm not a lawyer or a judge, so I can't say 100% that would happen. That just seems to be what happens in a lot of cases. You get off early on good behavior, or you take a plea deal. I imagine Legal Eagle will probably make a video on this sometime soon, which will be an interesting watch. When it comes to the insurance company, I hope and pray that they do not reimburse him for this crash, because they literally have video evidence to show that him being on his phone was what caused the crash, not just an unfortunate case of hydroplaning on the highway. All of that being said, it seems like the only thing he's learned in this situation is to not drive sports cars out in the rain, which I guess is something. And before the video ends, I want to go back to my point on how the sentiment that bad publicity is a good thing. If you're smart and know how to twist bad publicity to, in the long run, benefit you like Logan Paul, sure, but it's an easy way to torpedo your career. If nobody really cares about you personally, the audience of haters you'll gain is fickle. They may watch you crash and fail, but the vast majority of them are not going to be watching anything else you put out. For example, Def Noodles, somebody that a whole lot of people were talking about back in the day. There are videos with millions of views talking about his downfall. Thousands, if not millions of people clowned on this guy. But even though a huge amount of people were talking about him back in the day, as time progressed, his main videos that he started uploading were barely hitting 300 views until I'm pretty sure he just full on deleted the channel, and now he's trying to do the drama thing all over again. If a lot of people hate you and you fail to innovate and your core audience tunes out, that's when it ends. That's when your goodwill is gone. And that's how you get legitimately canceled. So as enticing as the quick money and easy views may seem from acting like a dick on camera, it won't last, and it will most likely prevent any future endeavors you try in the future from gaining any traction. Do you want to be the cigar that everyone remembers fondly, or the cigarette that's forgotten as soon as it goes out. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you for watching the video. Remember to subscribe to the Mr. Epic on YouTube. No pressure. And I am out.
I've just realized that was that. I've had it up to here. There's no turning back.
Why do bad things happen to good people like me?